Each week on the Rescue Rundown with our friends at the Oklahoma Humane Society, I get an email in advance saying, hey, here's our topics. And by the way, we're bringing in the most adorable puppy ever. And each week, I find that hard to believe because the previous week has had the most adorable puppy ever. Melinda Prible joins us this week with our friend here. Melinda, great to see you. Thank you for stopping in.
Thank you.
And who's our adorable friend here?
This is Winston.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
What do we know about Winston?
He is about 2.5 months old. We think a Great Pyrenees mix. He's got some long, beautiful hair. That's a bit of a brindle mix, which is a little bit rare to see. And with this spot on the eye, he could not be any more adorable.
He could not, that's for sure. Now, when you sent me the email yesterday, you're like, hey, we're bringing in Habanero. What happened to Habanero?
Habanero and all of the pepper puppies got adopted yesterday.
Now, why do you call them pepper puppies?
We had a theme. We had Serrano, Poblano. They just, they were adorable. And they're actually, they all found homes. And so we're really
there was this one litter that all had pepper names.
Yes.
And they were, I'm assuming, adorable as well.
Yes, they were all beautiful.
You mentioned that things were quite busy at the Central Oklahoma Humane Society yesterday, and they are located at 7500 Northwestern, so business has picked up, right?
Yes, we're very busy with spring break traffic. A lot of people coming in and just spending some time with the puppies and kittens, dogs and cats. Even if people weren't really looking to adopt, they just wanted to be able to spend some time with the animals on their days off of school.
And you guys don't necessarily discourage that if somebody just wants to do a little window shopping, browse.
Of course, yeah, you never know when you're going to fall in love, so just come on by.
Well, speaking of spring break, that's the perfect segue to this week's topic on the Rescue Rundown is if you're road tripping with your dog or cat, maybe.
Yes.
And let's just take you guys as the perfect example because each week you come from Northwestern to downtown and bring a fellow like Winston in. How do you guys do that? What's the steps that you take? I'm assuming Winston's not driving the car.
He looks responsible. I think he could, but no, we always transport them in some kind of pet carrier.
So that's a thing to definitely do. Make sure your dog or cat is contained.
Yes, and in road trips, sometimes they may not be used to that, so just spend a few days or weeks in advance, maybe just feeding them in a carrier or something to get them comfortable in it. By the time that road trip happens, that they'll be happy to go in there.
I know my two cats, every time they see the cat carrier, they're like, oh, bad news is about to happen.
Yes, I think that happens a lot of times. We can kind of use that as, it's kind of fear-based. They really aren't comfortable with it. And so there's some great tools online about crate training and ways to really get your pet to enjoy being in that environment and have it to be like a safe haven for them instead of a scary place.
So it's much better to have them contained versus just roaming around. Even if it's a long road trip, it's still advised, hey, keep them contained.
Yes, for their safety and yours. You know, I think they could easily crawl on your lap, get under a gas pedal. Things could go badly very fast. So we just, for everybody's safety, want them to be.
I have one cat you could not pull out of the cat carrier once it's in the car. The other cat, she's all about looking out the window. So now that said, speaking of windows, sometimes you're driving along and you see a dog with a head out the window and it just looks adorable because that dog's enjoying life.
They're so happy.
However, that's not necessarily a great idea.
Yeah, so I know they seem to be happiest with their heads out the window, but just some things. So that for one, that means that they're not in a crate or some kind of container. But the other thing is that it may not be the best. Road debris and just the different temperature of that air in their lungs may not be the best thing for them. So,
well, I hadn't thought about the air temperature, but we've certainly all followed a truck or something on the highway and a pebble or rock comes dinging off the windshield and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. So,
the worst thing to see, in my opinion, though, is when you're driving along and there's the pickup truck and the dog's in the back.
It breaks my heart when I see that, and that is something that we really discourage. Kind of not a good place for.
Once again, it looks like the dog's having a good time back there, but
oh sure. Well, we do a lot of things that are dangerous every day that we shouldn't do, right? So
very true.
Yeah, it's our job to protect them. So
it's one thing coming from the north side to downtown Oklahoma City, but for a longer road trip, you guys advise taking some rest breaks.
It's okay. Yes, you know, just like us, they're going to want to get out and stretch their legs, dogs especially, depending on the age and the activity level and how far you're going. You can kind of gauge how frequently you need to make those stops. But anytime you do get out of the car with them, we just always suggest that they have their identification and their leash and make sure that you just never just kind of drop them out of the car. Because
So that's a good point too. And as you can see with Winston, he has his St. Patrick's Day colors on with the collar there. But chips and identification, something you guys certainly recommend.
Yes, very important whenever you're traveling, and we always, no matter where your pet is, that they would be that they would always wear their collar that would have their identification. And if you are traveling, make sure that the number on their tag is a number that they can reach you while you're on the road. Make sure that's a cell phone or something instead of a home phone. And
good point.
Make sure that your microchip is up to date, that they are microchipped, and that the information, that your contact information in there is correct.
And perhaps a longer road trip to buddy up, have a friend.
Yes. Yeah, you want to be able to take turns driving, be able to have somebody in the car to stay with them, and so you can kind of take turns running in places and getting gas and all that.
And we haven't had to worry too much about the heat lately, but later this summer that'll be a concern of leaving the dog or cat. I don't know if you'd necessarily go to the grocery store with a cat, but leaving the dog in the car.
Yes, I was really surprised to learn that even in the kind of temperatures of the early 70s, within an hour your car can get up to over 115 degrees. And so even now in early spring, it's something that we want people to be aware of, because in the dead of summer, we all know that heat is fatal, but it can build quickly even whenever it's a little bit cooler outside, so we want for people to be aware of that too.
We're chatting with Winston and Melinda Prible from the Central Oklahoma Humane Society on the Rescue Rundown here today in the Oklahoman studio. What about a travel kit? Any sort of tips that you would advise us?
Yes, just like if you were packing a baby bag, you're going to need things for your pet. So before you get on the road, we suggest that you have a bag with all of their food, water, dishes for each of those, any medicine that they're on, also things for waste, plastic bags, things like that. So really just anything, any of their favorite toys, blankets, anything to help make them feel at home whenever they're on the road.
Very good. Look at Winston. What a good little dog.
He is.
He's enjoyed his camera time today. So Winston is available. Does he have any siblings?
No, he is one of a kind. Yes.
He's available for adoption at the Central Oklahoma Humane Society. We should mention that you can find more of their inventory of cats and dogs on their website at okhumane.org. So if a bunch of puppies show up, they may go quickly. Keep an eye on the inventory online if you're looking for cats or dogs to adopt. Melinda, great to see you. Great job today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Winston, scratch it out, buddy. Have a good day. All right, thank you so much. More Rescue Rundown can be found on newsok.com and okhumane.org.